said you was ready, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Breathing took when I have no reason. I must eat when I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between, baby. You can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I live at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not around with me.
And once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading fundamental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at herbsofmaat.com. Maat Son's Teas, the tea of teas, divinely prepared. For all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Bay, be sure to check out vhbaymusic.com. And for your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out morrishaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial Morris drip, be sure to check out morsachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today. And without further ado, we introduce to you Sheikh Kari Goodman Bay.
Peace, 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 family.
Peace.
Hey, Brian, can
Peace,
you
peace,
give
peace.
how the BBT believe real fast? I'm just gathering my notes, and then we'll get right into it if you don't mind.
We get the Morris American
It's long.
prayer.
And definitely our prayer.
Allah,
Yes,
Father
sir.
of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, my salvation, my night, my day. Through his holy prophet, through Ali, Amin, Ashe, Shalom, Alakim, and Ash'ar, Islamism. Peace, 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 peace. Go ahead, Brian.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. So, scientific introduction to the divine pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle, including the Morris Salat. So, scientific study will illuminate the student that Yahweh, our Elohim, God, the creator of the stellar and ecclesiastical universe, has stipulated in all Bibles, regardless of the translation, a pattern that he, Yahweh Elohim, gave Moses in Mount Sinai in the year 1490 BBY, erroneously referred to as BC. It is by a profound knowledge of the construction and operation of this divine pattern of the Mosaic Tabernacle in relationship to every created object in the universe, whether visible or invisible, that will reveal the answer to every question concerning Yahweh Elohim and Yahshua the Messiah as he really is and his eternal purpose and plan. The Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple and School, is not a church, but a school of research founded with the idea in mind and to delve into every branch of science according to the pattern of the tabernacle, man made in the image of God, which is Allah, and more science acronym, meaning arm, leg, arm, head, to find the answer to every question that has plagued the student from the foundation of the world, thus proving the unerring accuracy and infallibility of the Bible. In research and study, we always use the true Hebrew names of the unity, of the Spirit, of the so-called Godhead. Instead of the title God as the Father's name, we are using the correct Hebrew name, Yahweh. Instead of Jesus Christ as the Word or Son's name, we are using Elohim, which is the correct Hebrew title of the Father, Yahweh, in Sukkah, in corporal form. Or the Holy Spirit, which is Yahweh Elohim manifested in a physical body, we are using the correct Hebrew name, Yahshua, the Messiah. These holy names may seem to be of private interpretation, which we, the Burning Bush Tabernacle, have invented, but through research and study with a good encyclopedia or dictionary, anyone can discover for themselves of this great error. There was no letter J in any language until the Middle Ages. Neither was there ever a letter equivalent to the J in the Hebrew language. Therefore, such names as Jesus or Jehovah are impossible renderings of the true name of the Father and the Son. Here at the BBT, our aims are as follows. 1. To illuminate students to find and know Yahweh, our Elohim, as he really is and exists. 2. To form a nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity in Yahshua, the Messiah, without distinction of race or nationality, creed, sex, caste, or color. 3. To investigate the unexplained spirit law, or so-called law of nature, and the powers latent in man. 4. To encourage and promote the study of the scriptures, comparative religions, psychology, philosophy, modern, practical, and occult sciences. 5. To remove spookism, superstition, skepticism, and ignorance. Aim 6. To learn, to know, and understand the operation of Yahweh's eternal purpose through the dispensations and ages. 7. To discern and avoid being deceived by Lucifer the serpent, the devil, the dragon, or Satan, and his demons operating the mystery of iniquity on earth through the dispensations of time. 8. To earnestly contend for the common salvation and faith, which was once delivered to the sons or children of Yahweh. 9. To make known that Yahweh from the beginning ordained there is no other name given among men, whereby man can be saved, saving the name Yahshua the Messiah. And last but not least, aim 10. To inherit eternal life, now the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah, the hope of immortal glorification in the new earth state. And with that, I say Islam, amen, and peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace. Gratitude and much love, man. First, I want to give a shout out to my brothers, all of y'all here in town. We've been having a good weekend. All my brothers that didn't make it, man, y'all here in spirit. You know, we always astro playing with each other, hearts and spirits, so we love each and every one of y'all. Peace, Noble Alonzo. Our other brother just popped on. Peace and love. And just peace to the world, man.
Hey, peace, Noble Alonzo.
But today is going to be a good day. You know, I started thinking about things, and I was going to connect the Moorish Quran with some adapt wisdom, but when I saw my brothers here and we talk about chakras and we're talking about a heartbeat, just like when we have a vehicle, no matter what you do to it, if one piece or one chakra is not there, it's not going to work. So keep that in your mental when people talk about what Noble Drew Ali taught and what he didn't. A lot of our brothers and sisters, aptitude is just not there. They don't know synchronicity or they don't know synonyms, and they don't understand ancient history, and a lot of things are the same. It just may be worded different. So I'm going to jump around until we get to the good part. But you should know what your Moorish Quran consists of, what I always tell brothers. I can use the Moorish Quran and that's it. I can use the Bible and that's it. What? To teach everything, no matter what it is. And a lot of times I use my notes. So when we talk about Moorish science and certain acronyms in the science, when we talk about the physical man and how do we do things and how do we get into science, when people talk about regulations and temples and subordinates and initiates and conferring degrees of said temples and all those words, you know, we talk about doing things in a certain way. When I talk about initiation, when you get people that's never been a part of nothing and the first thing they do is get things from the internet and say, oh, this person initiated. You want to be initiated. No one took no oath to not to tell you the truth. Initiation is just like when you trying out for a basketball team. That's a form of initiation. When you're going through academia, it's a form of initiation. Our brotherhood is a form of initiation. The wisdom. It's just like if we was in martial arts. That's a form of initiation as you're going through your ranking system. But what does initiation entail? You know, it's not just some passing on some fake grips, some fake postures, and some funny words that you see Moors making these videos, and we don't have to say names. I stood with my feet out, or I bought this badge off someone and the police parted the sea. What is the name of the first physical man? You know? That's what we talking about here. The initiation, the awakening of the soul. That's the initiation. The awakening of the soul. The postures, the words, the grips are merely worthless trinkets. Y'all hear me when I be saying doohickeys? Well, that too. They ain't nothing but doohickeys with absolutely no saving power for the uplifting of fallen humanity, which is the sole purpose of adapthood. That's the sole purpose of adapthood. The operative, pun intended, word here is used. In today's age, almost anyone can gain an intellectual or a philosophical knowledge of so-called secrets. However, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us, and I teach in the flesh, for man to truly know, he or she must be what he or she knows. And so usage implies an operative knowledge and not an ivory tower sheikhood per se, or the simple accumulation of information, which me and my nobles have been talking about. We don't care about nobody having a whole bunch of information. Woo. Information, sminformation. You know, whoop-de-doo. And I don't make that statement lightly, you know, when I say these things, because the student should understand the work that's being displayed. My spirit should touch your spirit if your heart is pure, you know, to remove all the falsehoods. Watch as we demonstrate this as I go on when I talk about wisdom and applied wisdom. Write these down because I'm going to go kind of fast. When I talk about the exopolitics and the Moorish American ontology, the exopolitics and the Moorish American ontology, what I'm saying, in all the world, there are two things. The one is truth and the other is falsehood. And falsehood is that which seems to be. That which seems to be. Think about how it can seem to be. Now, truth is art and has no cause, yet is the cause of everything. I hope we catching these jewels. These are jewels. These are ayats. The ethers cause the powers to be and thought of Elohim, of angel and man or other thinking things. Direct that force. These spirits of the true and Allah move on the face of the boundless space, and the seven ethers were. And every ether had its form of life. Nobles, these planets, with all their teeming thoughts of Allah, are never seen by the eyes of man in the flesh. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshly eyes to see when we're talking about the mortal man. And still they constitute the soul of things. What I'm saying, brothers, those that say the more, if you study in more science, I hope you have read the Quran and understand it. Because if your heart is pure, you can be corrected with the Quran. Because what? Law governs all events. See, the study of our Moorish Quran, it facilitates the growth and development of a unique character. And that character informs the Moorish American thoughts, words, and actions. Nobles, keys to this Moorish... Oh, somebody said something? Oh, I'm sorry. Keys to this Moorish American ontology is a detailed and keen awareness, kingship, and other worldness, or life in other realms of experience besides and outside the confines of the three-dimensional realm of the plane of things made manifest. So keep that in your hippocampus, nobles. Keep in your head in your Moorish Quran chapter 7 verse 18. The teeming thoughts of Allah clothed in the substance of their ethers The preferred term, ultra-terrestrial, as opposed to extraterrestrial, is used here as the term extraterrestrial, implies a being foreign to the earth. Watch this, or only the material existence of life in the external universe, not indigenous to earth. And yet, as the Moorish American expression of Islam informed us, the three-dimensional plane, the plane of things what? Made manifest, is a manifest that is. It is an end result of a process stemming from a cause. Then we must acknowledge the fact that the appearance and the physical presence of the extraterrestrial life is just as much a projection as is the physical part of man is. So I hope y'all connecting this, because we're talking about the divine must come first. Remember in question 38, what is an angel? I hope you know your 101. This is too simple. The term ultra-terrestrial implies a being that employs interdimensional travel, and as such are capable of living among us, relativity, undetected. Remember in our 101, what is an angel? Y'all should know this. The same thing as a prophet. What is it? What is an angel?
Angel is a prophet clothed in the flesh.
Come on. You see? So when we speak in those that are familiar with your teachers and with what you're supposed to understand, I'm speaking your language. Remember in chapter 5 of your Quran, we're given a description of the function of the Moorish American Islamic working tools. You can't deny what I'm saying. All you got to do is look at it. If you got your Moorish Quran, I hope you got one. This detailed description presumes a powerful truth, that man himself, just for himself, has the power to do what? Control and manage all the life forms existing in his inner space. That is provided with the tools to properly manage. And that being the same tools are used on all levels of existence in inner space. There exists an overreaching uniform rule of governance that is embodied in the philosophy of these working tools. I'm speaking of your science. We're still giving a schoolmaster. This is the overreaching uniform rule of governance, an overrule order keeping of the various thought forms of life on each plane of experience, on the inner and resultantly the outer, those worlds that we call the so-called exo-government, and our relationship, interaction between us and these other forms of life that we call exopolitics. I hope y'all stand with me. I'm hoping something resonated. I can go in chapter 2 in your Moorish Quran as we talk about the Aramaic letter, the number in religion, in scripture. Watch this connection. The lessons of anything that I'm telling you, even with our Moorish Quran, when I tell brothers, if you don't have it, you can get it from us. We don't sell it, you can get it. You know? A prophet and an angel, you shouldn't have a problem with that. His due is higher. You know? We have to know these things. We have to be okay with what we promulgate. So when we reading things, when I say I don't have a problem with no one religious aspect, yes, I don't. But I'm not Orthodox. I'm Moorish. The Quran described Islam as not a religion, but the very nature of humanity itself. In Surah 30:30, this very nature is what the pattern of the mythos gives insight into. If you're an Islamic student, you know what I'm saying. If not, you need to sit under the teachings. I'm giving you a perspective or a piece or a paradigm that you should understand. Utilizing the inner method of reading the Quran necessities and understanding of the energetic properties of the letter, the numbers in Islam, particularly the Sufi tradition of Harufism. The basic idea is that the inner reality is revealed in a particular arrangement of phrases, of words and letters with the corresponding numerical values. The resultant intellectual understanding is then translated to a full bodily understanding through the performance of a specific physical exercise. Stay with me. Designed to fully fuse the higher ideas into the flesh of the initiate, to concretize, I like to say crystallize the idea and facilitate the full unfoldment of the inner reality into the mundane world, on your feds, that mundane ball, and give the reality full expression through the physical body of the initiate, you and I. You see? The Arabic writing system is derived from the same Semitic root tradition that the so-called Hebrew come from. The names of the letters have a Canaanite source, but do little more than serve as abstract names for letters themselves. You see? For the purpose, the initiate, when considering, I say ILM, or Alabja, ALABJAD, or the science of the letters, you can find some familiar trinity of the levels of the shapes and the sounds and the numbers. That's what I'm showing you. When you under this science, you should have an understanding of the Fatimid, the Paraclete, the Jerusalem, the Christian per se. You should have a clear understanding. In the religion, the letters are the components of creative fiat by which God, Allah, creates. And there are two basic paths to wisdom in the consideration of the letters and the numbers. The most known being a sort of occult intellectualism, which you must have, or an intellectual contemplation of mystic interpretations of each letter and numbers. Like when I say Elm in Surah 2, the incomprehensible, the life, the death, the pulsation, the abstraction principle of all that is and is not, there is no God but God. It's a formula, 1331H formula, God not. I don't want to go too far in that, but I'm just setting the precedent because we on good time. I'm still in your Moorish Quran. If you study your Moorish Quran, you should be able to highlight it. Remember, Allah, 1, the 3, the 7. So when I talk about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or when we talk about the Kabbalah, when we talk about the monad, the dyad, the triad, the tetrad, the penton, the tetrad, the triad, the dyad, the monad, when you look at that symbology, and when we talk about Allah, the 1, the 3, the 7. So when you make a circle out of a man and a woman, watch this, derive from it a square, and from the square a triangle. Make a circle, and you will have what? The philosopher's stones, the rosarium, the Rosarium. I'm painting a picture for you. Anybody that want to be clear, when people be saying, well, the prophet didn't teach this, you wasn't clear. I'm making it clear for you. I'm making it clear for you right now. I'm going to clear it up for you. And I'm going to show you the Ajana. I'm going to tie it all up for you. So you don't have no more doubt. So we can stop dealing with all this stupid stuff. Numbers as a cosmic structure. Remember, numbers are the matrix or the lattice work of manifested creations, are the tools of the Elohim. In the fact that Elohim themselves can be seen as pure numbers. Therefore, number is the means by which Allah both creates and makes his presence known in his creation. So when they talk about Pythagoras and all that, which we know where it comes from, but I'm just using that as a reference, learned in Egypt, taught the numbers are living creatures. And so his mathematics tended to what? Define the actual identity of number, as opposed to what? Modern mathematics only describing its functions. I hope y'all staying with me. Monad 1, dyad 2, triad 3. I broke that down. So the odd number in solar, in male, in yang, they act upon a what? A certain theme. Even numbers is lunar, female, yang. They are the thing acted upon. So odd number is Allah's both unfolding. Even number is the environment the thought unfolds in. So both powers work hand in hand for the ultimate purpose of the full unfolding of Allah's thoughts within what? You and I, Allah's creation. Even number providing the suitable soil in which odd numbers can unfold and develop. Watch this. Odd number by design transcends all confinement and conformity, and thus in unfolding eventually breaks the mold of even numbers. Thus, even number creates ever evolving suitable containers necessary for what? Odd number to continue to unfold. This process is endless. Watch this. I hope this is more science. This is your Quran. The numbers should be looked at less as symbols and more as elemental structures for the organization of form and energy. So the Arabic word, Bushmallah, You heard him say, Bishmallah. Related directly to the word Bishmallah. Starts with the letter, the number, the energetic configuration. Bayt. B-A-Y-T. A.K.A. house. Which literally is what? A container. This is significant for a plethora of reasons. Remember, Genesis also starts with the same mathematical configuration. Right? Bereshith. Right? B-E-R-A-S-H-I-T-H. B-A-Y-T. Beth. Both implying a specific beginning without implying what? The beginning as such a thing does not exist. Remember? Time never was when man was not. Of course, Alf. One goes before Bayet or Bet. Two. So in this case of the text spoken of, the student or the reader is invited to become Alf, one, and insert himself into the text to give what? It life and relevance. That's power. Remember the circle and the square? Remember when we used to take a square and then make a square? You know, I'm not a good artist, but Allah the one, the universal Allah, the gold circle, the highest plane of spirit life. Allah the three, the true in Allah, the red triangle, the spirit plane, the plane of soul. Allah the seven Elohim, the blue square, the plane of soul, the plane of manifest. I'm painting a picture. So when you hear me speak of the circle 7 per se, the number 7 represents all possible possibilities, specifically a literal unlimited potential within the plane of manifest, the seed of Allah within the heart of man and the heart of woman. The 7 as the number of perfected man. 3 plus 4 is numerically the true in Allah. The 3 infused within matter via the 4 elemental spirits. The breaks in the so-called circles per se represent the points where the spirit interfaces with the primordial man. You hear me? The primordial man. What is that? That spirit of fire, air, water, earth, or the elementals. Those are the builders of forms. And how matter itself is animated by spirit. Remember how I said you take that one square, then you take that one square, then you connect them, and you make a cube. The cube as a geometric 7. I told you, man, all you got to do, a fool cannot play smart, but an intelligent person can always be quiet and let a fool hang itself. When you hear somebody say that's like putting a circle in a square, you can. If you have your compass and a square, they both 360 degrees. If you don't understand that, something wrong with your wisdom.
Hello, somebody.
I told y'all, we still in elementary wisdom. Come on, brothers that be here. Come to class, speak up. You don't have to be in the dark no more. The cube inside the circle is the geometric circle 7. As the cube has what? 6 apparent points and 1 invisible 7 point. Symbolically and literally, the cube is the 6-sided Solomon seal. I'm giving you wisdom. The double triangle, the 6 sides of Solomon's seal also represents the 6 directions that all emanate from the invisible single point in the center. When I talk about your chakras and I say one control them all, stay with me. That give the 3 spiral dimensions of length, width, depth. Therefore, this emblem, along with the invisible 7 point of origin in the center, it represents what? The human seed that comes forth from the heart of Allah, the invisible central point, enclosed within the confines of the ethers, of the plane of what? Manifest. Ahad, A-H-A-D. One is mighty, eternal, and incomprehensible, yet unmanifested. When one manifests, it can only become 3. 2 is the primordial passive duality through which the one becomes manifest as the so-called 3. The one is undifferentiated substance, or the rootless root. Therefore, put another way, we can say like this: within apparent duality is an invisible sigazi. Remember, I talk about spirit builders when I talk about science, and when I say masonry is not bad if you're dealing with an adapt and a map and a guy in the flesh like myself. I'm going to give you things that person say, what, I never heard of that word and that phrase, because they're not a spirit builder. All you got to do is knock on the door, and if you're willing to be initiate through the wisdom, everything can be given to you. But we think others have to give it to you, and you see myself, and I'm the one that gives the orders. When I say orders, the keys. Nothing it's nothing higher than this. It's nothing higher. You can go. Everything else is snowman wisdom. So when I give you words and things, I tell you to look them up for a reason. And it's spelled SYZYGY. And see where that take you in your studies. You're going to have a lot of questions. I gave you a nugget. An invisible meeting place of divinity and matter that provides the means of the meetings and substance that meeting. So, as we talk about science, it's the hidden inside the apparent and the invisible, two opposites of primordial duality. Is the invisible but real single point of true reality. Remember, an invisible third thing. 1 equals 3. It's in your Moorish Quran when it mentions the 7 other ethers. It's in your Quran. The 7 other ethers are the feminine counterparts of the second cells of the 7 Elohims, their respective ethers or soils of souls. Come on, we Sufis. In our Sufi circles, the 7 eyes of Allah are comparable to what they call the Al-Salma Al-Yami Al-Sabah, or the 7 leading names of Allah. You know, it's 7 leading names of Allah. The Hayya Limitless, the Hay or the High, the infinite indivisible life, the limitless infinite indivisible knowledge, the El or the Elim, the Qadar, the Mered, the Sami, the Basar, the Kalim. The Qadar is the limitless, infinite, indivisible, the power. The Mered is the limitless, infinite, indivisible will. The Sami is the limitless, infinite, indivisible perceiver. The Basar is the limitless, infinite, indivisible evaluator. And the Kalam is the limitless, infinite, indivisible meanings. You see, those are the 7 leading names of Allah. You got to be with what I'm saying. How could you not? I'm giving you wisdom. A prophet is due his hire. What's wrong with that? Our prophet presented us with Moorish literature. I'm giving Moorish literature. I'm showing paradigm. Allows our complete development culturally, socially, economically, politically, and spiritually. It's in our form of Islam, the core of this paradigm. It's based on all encompassing views of the Wadad or the Al-Wajad, or Wujud, or the essential unity of being. It's nothing outside of ourselves. Anything outside of ourselves is true shirk. This is the core of the faith itself. Oneness demands an inclusionary thinking. There is no room for separation and categorization, outside the unity of oneness. So to declare there is no God but Allah, for the Moorish American Muslim, is to say that there is no reality outside of the mind of God. Indeed, to attempt to recognize anything outside the oneness is to commit shirk, the placing of gods beside Allah, and mathematically speaking, to try to convince or conceive of a oneness plus something else, which is not oneness at all, but an error. You see, such a mindset allows for the connection of a very wide array of subjects and topics, many of which the more Western mindset would see as separate and non-related, such as, say, alchemy, which concerns itself with the transmutation of the substance into another. If you understand the science and you under the wisdom, you know exactly what I'm saying. The pure Islamic mindset can easily reconcile the beginning substance and the end result as 2 phases, manifestations of a singular reality. And so the transmutation of the base to the noble, from the base to the noble, both being parts of the same whole, does not change the nature of reality, and is therefore possible. Because how are you going to be a perfected vessel? You can't cut a part of you off. The pendulum must swing the same way to the left as it does to the right. I'm giving you keys. Our prophet, our American prophet worldview is laid out in chapter 1 of our Moorish Quran. It's offer us the spiritual worldview while within the manifest world. That is a working knowledge of what? Energetics from the most rarefied state, which is your spirit, to the most coarse state, the physical, the three-dimensional space-time per se. And when he, per se, through the teachings of Jesus, Yahshua, tells us to forget the flesh and go with the mind into the land of fleshless things, he's inviting us to venture into these realms, these worlds, and these experiences that we have not known, yet are part of the vastness of the totality of the oneness, and definitely within our reach, brothers. And when the teacher teaches us that man is not the body nor the soul, we are spirit and part of Allah, he's informing us that we are in fact luminous beings, not bound by space and time. I just wanted to paint that beautiful picture, because when brothers say, well, the prophet didn't teach this and he didn't teach about the chakras and all that, I said, just like when we had a guest and I said, you're going to be hung by your limitless. And that's the thing that we do. When you know a person is well versed, we should be coming with gratitude. And we don't do that a lot. And that needs to change with us. If we're going to say this matter and this matter, well, our elders and our scholars, the ones that you know that put in the work, we should be respecting the wisdom and being brought up and correcting ourselves from love. Because a lot of people can be sincere. But if you're sincerely wrong, you should be able to be corrected with the wisdom. So let's proceed. I'm going to connect to dynamics at one. So I always tell people you can get the Exhuming of the Nation from us for a small donation. You download it on your tablet, Office Max and Staples, and print it. But when people be saying that they have this and then have that, I know they haven't studied it. And even if you read it, a lot of times you don't have the aptitude to really understand what the words are really saying and use them in the proper context. So when we talk about the Ajana, the Ajana, or the third eye chakra, it's located between the brows in the inward, the center of your forehead. The Ajana means command, boundless perception, infinite wisdom through knowledge of the God self, universal authority. Through the Ajana, one is moved beyond the world of dualities into the peacefulness of neurality of the cosmos, beyond the pearl of the blue ether plane. Remember, I just was talking about this. Physically, the third eye is associated with the pituitary gland, the eyes and the brains, because there is the soul resides. As my noble Malik is our health and wellness trainer. And when brothers be, speaking in things, he looking in your eyes and he looking in your souls. And that's what we saying, the divine comes first. So if the divine comes first, man, our vessels must be pure before we can talk about using anything, because we're using everything in the wrong pretense. Why? Because look at our vessel. Look. But although the Ajana radiates from the elemental light, its colors are purple and indigo. So remember that our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, he always said that there is but one way for a man to be produced, and there are 1,000 by he be destroyed. That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 44, verse 7. Like so, there is but one true way for a man to see himself, the truth. All his other observances are subject to change and pass with time. What is commonly called the third eye, when we talk about that, it was created with every physical man as he or she was first formed. Since then, the third eye is as much a part of his procreated human descendants as heads, limbs, and organs. Every member born with a navel in the human family has their own. It is a certainty. If one was born with a head and had the holy breath of life blown into his nostrils, the spirit and the soul, you possess, brothers and sisters, the third eye. This mono eye, located above the senses, centered behind the two eyebrows, can only see inward, and it's necessary. It's a must for perception into the boundless heart of man. So when you talk about the human eye, remember that? The human eye, it don't see object really. They process light waves from objects that either absorb or reflect. So I want y'all to stay in it because all things that can be seen by human eyes are manifest of all, are not, and so must pass away. Read your Moore's Quran chapter 7 and 8. The things they see are just reflexes appearing fast to slow, or thus, reflexes change as the conditions change. It's in your Moore's Quran chapter 1. Research it. Masters of the Golden Temple of the Tibet, which speaks of the eye, saith, and I quote, thine eyes, the sentinels, that watch for thee, yet how often are they able to distinguish from error? That's in your Moore's Quran chapter 27 verse 8. I'm connecting things as we jump into the wrapping up of this. Prophets, sages, saints, masters of Africa, India, the Oriented we specialize in the science of meditation. Some call it yoga, and then you'll see some of them marking their foreheads. But we don't have to do that. They'll do it with a red kumkum, a KUM. It's called a bimdi, BIMDI, called a bimdi. And this symbolized their so-called knowledge of the inward spiritual journey. The golden cord of meditation binds all the lives of Moses, of Abraham, Buddha, Yahshua, Muhammad, and all the masters. That's why if you're a true adapt, we respect and obey all the laws and the prophets. Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, etc. So, and if you're going to respect all those that you haven't seen in the flesh and see me in the flesh and don't give me the respect, I think we're doing something asinine. Because if you understand your one-on-ones, what's a prophet and an angel? I hope you know what that is. But above all, these God men, we warn, none but the pure in hearts shall see God. And to keep our hearts and minds purified with love. That's Acts 7. Shallow men to their callow brothers nearly always veil the subjects of the infamous third eye in mystery and secrecy. I'm telling you, under the auspices of you can't feed a baby steak. That's what they'll tell you. That's what these old people will tell you. Because it's no power. They don't have it. Their human knowledge of the subject as powers beyond their beings is, no, we're not dealing with that. This is for all man to use. The third eye, as seen by humanity. Remember, signs and symbols are for men of understanding. So when I be telling brothers what signs and symbols of the primordial man, you have to understand that no one was writing or no needy symbols come from no one else. All societies is yours. You just don't know. That's why when I speak boldly of the primordial man and signs and symbols and Albert Church Ward, they speak of the signs belong to a certain group. And we're going to teach it. No matter if people adopt it, we're going to do it the right way and stand strong, But we use them to chart the courses to perfection. Have you ever wondered why a light bulb symbolizes the conception of an idea? Or why a realization is spoken of as seeing the light? Why wisdom is depicted by the semblance of a globe or a halo? Think about this symbology now. When someone uses his or her God powers to create, why is the perception of it referred to as a bright idea? Notice how those with minds of wisdoms have been enlightened. That's why I say we use the words, because we are illuminated. We are the enlightened ones. I'm telling you, your words have power. We let others have things. There's no power in it. Even those like Moses and the burning bush, which we are, who have witnesses God's grace, speak of the glow, of the brightness, that dazzling. And in the human life, there are daily reference to the third eye. The all-seeing eye, the star of the east, the day star, the psychic, the bindi. I'm giving you a preference of how you can see this and relate it to more science as I clear it all up. Other symbols of the third eye, the power of the one eye, has been portrayed as aliens and cyclopses. Remember? Cyclopses are supposed to be the original Adam with no navel, 20 feet tall. Y'all know the story. I'm just setting the precedent for you can be like, yep. But the purpose of the third eye, the purpose of the third eye is for man to see the self, the great God. And in reality, these two, at the truth, are one. Yahshua said to Lammas, a Brahmic priest of India's Jagannath, there is a power in the eye. It's in your Moore's Quran, chapter 7, verse 17. I hope y'all are writing this down. We fact checking them. This power in the third eye is directed by man's thinking while using what? That holy breath. The breath is a force and is recognized as divine love. So those that don't understand it, when my voice may raise, those are the waters parting. I'm coming with love. That's what people got to understand. If we operate on a certain way and you breaking the laws, I'm coming with love. This
Sheik on the 9.
you know, it's this what brothers have to understand. If we represent a certain way to do things, we're coming with love. So I want to close this out with this little part as we wrap this up. In a little bit of adapt wisdom, as you connect the chakras, chapter 4 signifies one of the number 7s, and it's the chakra teachings of our prophet. If I leave you with this, and Jesus said, truth is the only thing that changes not. And in all the world, there are two things. The one is truth, and the other is falsehood. And falsehood is not that which seems to be. Now, truth is all, and has no cause, and yet is the cause of everything. Falsehood is not, and yet it is manifest of right. Man is the truth, and falsehood strangely mixed. Man is the breath made flesh, so truth and falsehood are conjoined within him. And that's Jesus conversing with Lammas, the Brahmas, the Holy Quran of our Moorish Quran, chapter 7. Remember? And I give you the Bible scripture. And I saw the right hand of him who sat on the throne, a book written within, and on the backside, sealed with the 7 seals, Revelation chapter 5 and 1. And I stop right there. Islam? Any questions?
Islam. I had a question.
Absolutely.
And this is probably a simple one, but early on, you talked about ayats. Mm-hmm. And the question I have is, are ayats and scriptures the same? I grew up in a Christian background, and we talked about scriptures. Mm-hmm. But as I understand ayats are supposed to be divine understandings. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there a similarity between the two? Are they basically the same thing?
Yep, basically the same thing. Ayat, we can say ayat, blah blah blah, or so-called scriptures. Just a lot Just a lot of times different vernaculars. But remember, we always talk about words. Sometimes they be meaning the same thing. You know what I mean? As we depending on the so-called group per se, or the so-called vernacular per se. But absolutely.
That they use.
Absolutely. If we were saying Bible, we'll say John chapter 4, blah, blah, blah. But in the Quran, we might say ayat, blah, 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 verse 39. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Ayat 37 or ayat 43, verse blah, blah, blah. You know?
Islam. Appreciate that.
Islam. Anybody got anything else? And this is what we're doing. We want to open the floor. Everybody that's on my personal YouTube page, if anybody got any specific questions for the topic at hand, and we want to keep it short to get people to come to class, and be our guests and StreamYard, and subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube page, Burning Bush. And brothers, come collectively and reach out and let's build this community, because all of it's synchronized. And I taught this all before, and we're going to go in circles. I'm going to lay the Bible and the Quran right on each other, as we done before, over and over. So it can be no doubt, what we're representing. So anybody got anything else? If not, y'all, like I said, we give y'all gratitude, those that hear.
Please. I had another question.
Absolutely.
All right. So one, I wanted to say, you talked about the meaning of something. Is it Bimdi? Did I get that right? Bimdi?
Bimdi. Oh, when you talking about when I talk about the thing on their head?
Yeah, the third eye. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Perception.
Yep.
And inward sight.
Yep.
Is it Bimdi? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Ajana.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So they said we had to do. You asked for us to do, to find out what the meaning of DMD is. I just want to make sure I had it right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. And then I had one more question. You talked about, numerical value of numbers, or or meanings of numbers, because you talked about the odd numbers being Allah's unfolding, and the even numbers being the thoughts of Allah, right? And the even numbers being the suitable soil, if you will, for Allah's quote unquote unfolding to take place, right?
Yes, sir.
And so then I thought about something while you were talking about that the key numbers in as a Moorish American are odd numbers. They're 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And that would mean that each of those is an expression of Allah that's unfolded based off the soil that then has been created by understanding, peace, love. Am I on the right page? Am I on the right path?
Yep. You know it. You know it, Noble. Absolutely. Noble. Absolutely. You asked the question and answered that. Yes. Anybody want to add on to that? Somebody, I'm on my personal page just asked me, peace, Noble Alonzo, asked me, what is the lesser key of Solomon? Now, what me and my Mufti were just talking about that when we open up the questions, we want to have it to relay to the topic at hand. You know what I mean? And that's why we want people to subscribe to our Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, so other brothers can see those questions, and we can do that in the proper manifestation. So a lot of people be having a lot of questions, because one of our nobles, as we all were sitting here together, a brother sent Brian an email and said he wanted to ask, like, can you talk about XYZ and XYZ? And I said, I would love to answer all those questions specifically like that on the fly, but I would rather steer you in the right way, to give you the resource and not just listen to me and say, this is how I explain it, the way it's going to be explained for whoever using it. So I would want to give people the tools. So the answer to that, when Noble said, Islam Sheikh, what is the lesser key of Solomon? I would say, Noble, do you have those documents that's speaking about the lesser key of Solomon, which I have every one? And then for me, as a map and a guide, I would say the first thing is you want to have those things to ask questions from, because you'll be able to touch and have it. And a lot of the questions you may have, you will be able to come debrief, and you'll be able to have, how can I say it, notes, because that's the type of teacher I am. You can't, if you ask me a question, the first thing I'm gonna do is give you the information and see if you're really into it, because I can just say a whole bunch of stuff and I know how to use semantics, and a person can run with it. And I'll say, see, that person didn't study nothing because they didn't have the information. So here at the BBT, we just gave our aims. We a school. And so we want brothers to come to have the wisdom. We have a full library. We have over 1 million books and documents. Everything we have in-house. That's why I tell brothers, man, like, we have everything for our culture. Turban, Shemax, books and wisdoms. So if somebody asks, so once again, Noble, if you have the lesser key of Solomon, I don't know if you do, I have it. I have them from different authors. And we can have a whole book club on that, which we have book club every Friday where we go over these things. And so if brothers is in tune, a lot of these things we can have, because those are good questions. But I would rather do it the right way and give you information and have you be part of what we're doing, especially an ally for wisdom, to get information instead of me just answering a whole bunch of questions and you don't have the information. Or say if I say something wrong, per se, a person say, well, yep, I knew this, that, and the other. And I don't want to get into having no pissing contest with no one, because I don't deal with that type of energy. So I'd rather just keep it scholastic and me as a source of information, and us as brothers here to study and get the information. Islam?
Islam. I'd like to add on to what Lamont was building on. When he talked about the art of even numbers, we just talked about the unfolding really quick. And when we deal with unfolding things and what they embody, and we talk about how ourselves, when we get into the science
tribulations and how we unfold. Those things are paramount, and there's a deeper study into that. So I just wanted to highlight that, not to go too far into that, but as the Quran brings out, every seed has the potentiality, of whoever is the father or mother of that special seed. So, as Noble Lamont brought out, the part that the unfoldment is very, very key as we are on the journey. Our unfoldment will bring forth untold qualities. That I say Islam.
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 Islam. Gratitude. Gratitude.
Yeah.
Islam.
Islam.
And for clarity, for anybody that needs to know how Bindi is spelled, it's Bindi. So as you guys are doing your research.
And in our more science, remember, it's the third eye. It's in our Zoom of the Nation, the Ajana. Remember how when people we'll hear things, well, the prophet didn't teach this, and they'd be like, well, I don't think you really clearly understand what man is all about, and I don't think you really. And then it all connects to the Sephiros, it connects to the Kabbalah. When a person speaks like that, it's just we have to be dear with that, and so we're here to raise brothers up. So yes, but it's all there for you to see with your eye, as we keep saying. Which one? Your third eye. Your Ajana.
Hey, Sheik, I have a question. So
Absolutely.
we don't, I didn't hear this a lot growing up, but I would think that as I've gotten older, I should understand that men have intuition just like women have intuition, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And intuition is your spirit perception
Yep.
of something.
Yep.
So when we talk about the Ajana and open up the third eye, in the same sense, we're talking about strengthening or developing your intuition.
Yep. Or now, and remember when that's a great wisdom, but all that's connected to Sophia. When we talk about all that's connected to Sophia, so yes, because all that's connected to that counterpart. So yes, absolutely. You won't have none of that if that what you just said is not understand. It won't form to the Sophia aspect. It can form to what? Arrogance. That's why we said truth and falsehood strangely mixed. When it's operated right, when it's channeled right, like a certain behavior, is what? Power. So absolutely, those are attributes, Noble. And this is the same thing we're talking about right here. When people talk about the paradigm of more science, I don't think you understand. All these are attributes. I'll get in business form. Here go the basic model, the circle, whatever. And we'll call it this. This is the body. And off that, we can put a whole bunch of cores off of it. Those are the attributes. Same way in a Exuna of the Nation, a Clock of Destiny, when you got the sun in the middle, or Muhammad, and you got what? All the astrological signs off of it. All that gonna form the one. I hope I'm saying it right. Like, it's all connected. Because when you go back to the basic teaching, you're gonna be like, oh man, this is all connected.
Islam.
That's what that's what the fight is. People trying to separate. I said that you missing it. It's not a separate. It's a understanding both. When you got that fez on, what do it represent? It represents two things. But in the aspect we talk about, I hope you understand that wisdom. I hope you understand what it represents. I hope you understand what that mundane ball represent. Those tassels, those strings. See, that's why it's a certain pattern the way we do things. If we say we operate under this, and if we profess we're doing it this, well, the way these people do it under this organization or under this fraternal order does it like this. How? Because this is what it says. On both levels, and it's clear how we believe as Moors, and how we believe, and we defend the Constitution, and we ain't overthrowing nothing. Why? Because it's plain and simple. The divine comes first. There's no other way we can deal with this. Is what we have to say. You know what? Say we had a misunderstanding of what we thought was right, and come to a clean heart. But that's all. Because this stuff is, like we said, y'all, this is explanatory. This is simple stuff, not simple per se like that. But when it's laid out for you like that, it makes it an easier process to be like, oh, you know what I mean? This is how this is, and it can be explained in the right manifestation. We operate in a certain way, and the divine comes first. When you understand that, you will start fact checking yourself, or before you will go somewhere, you will check with the spirit. I will hope. If not, then you just operating on. It's not more science, because more science is for all this. What I'm teaching is for your whole family. It's nothing I said that I just said to get nobody in trouble, to get no kids in trouble, nothing to get no household in trouble. None of that. We don't use none of that language. But what we do is show the bigger picture and the bigger spectrum of things, and show the unity of all scriptures and the culture of history. Why? Because that's what this world is about. Nobles?
Oh gosh, I just had a question based off something you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in line, but you talked about order, right? That we operate off of an order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And us here within the BBT would represent a group of men, divine men that are operating, within a specific order, right?
Yes.
The Quran, Koran, order is what the O stands for, correct?
Yep.
And then I just thought, well, a union between a man and a woman, that's a sacred order as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we don't see the correlation between that sacred order and all other orders.
See, man, and that's going all the way back to our culture thing. Like, okay, I don't know if this fit in the same topic. A brother hit me up. He was like, I see what you're saying. He was like, if I'm a Moor today right now, and all these Moors, I'm not going to use no name, because since we just doing question and answers, he was like, these Moors are telling me to go to the city hall and get a marriage license and all that. And he like, my spirit is not telling me to do that. He was like, I talked to my dad and all this, and he was like, well, if you say you a Moor, this is what his dad said. He said, well, what are they telling you? He said, well, this, that, and the other. He said, well, then that means what you being taught or what you being told, really, they don't have no understanding. And his dad is a preacher, And so this is what I'll be saying about doing things the right way when you under a religious order, and when you bring in third parties in your contract. For my answer to that, when he asked me, what would I do today? I said, first, it have to be okay with you and that woman. That understand, they both have to be understanding the union they going in. You can still have your union papers, it'll just be through your set. It can still be notarized, all that stuff the right way. You don't have to go to the city hall and bring a third party in that. It can be done with your religious order. The paperwork can be done the same way. If we understand this and we stand strong, why? Because the religious laws trump all that. And his dad was on the phone. He was like, that make a lot of sense. I said, I know. I said, we're not overthrowing we're telling you we have this handle. The law say we can do this right. We don't have to we don't have to go get no marriage license. We can do the union papers in our own set. We got our own, how can I say, secretaries will restore it. Just like the paperwork, the CCRD, where it says they just the holders of due course of what you say it is, of who did this in your union. So when they look up in the archives and they look up the unions under the Burning Bush Tabernacle, and they look in the archives and the unions, they can say, yep, such and such L went into a union with blah, 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 L. If we wanted to be known like that, it's all legal. It's all lawful. Do y'all think the Amish, and when you understand, do you think the Amish or the Mormons go to the city hall and get married? No. So I just wanted to stay that aspect. And so Lamar, I think a lot of times our going into our unions sometimes be a little bit different. I'm saying that just on that perspective when we go into things, and sometimes that spirit is not right from maybe a lack of understanding what this union consists of. Because sometimes culturally, and sometimes women don't know that a union is more than just love. A union in our culture is a partnership. Like we got to be compatible. It's things that we have to do. It's not. It can't just operate on love. So those type of understandings and conversations have to be had. You know, I don't know if I'm answering that right, but where we are today, I think that's very important.
No, I think you did.
You know,
I understand. Absolutely.
but definitely, somebody said they sent me an email. Gratitude. Yeah, like I said, I want to stay too long, man. We was opening the floor. Like I said, we only going to be an hour, y'all. Please subscribe to our temple and school. And like I said, this is our 5th annual Moorish Ball. And our doors is open for all nobles to come join us, man, and be a part of the temple school. Come learn some things, ask some questions, come to study. That's what this is about, man. You know, so we can do things the right way. We can do some of the magnanimous things that others have done and don't have to worry about no one else. And then maybe be educated or illuminated to some things that we might not have known. We may have heard, but we may not have seen a people that's doing it and be like, whoa, these brothers is really doing it, and and engulf yourself in some righteous things. So, like I said, gratitude once again, man. If don't nobody have any questions, I'm good. But all the literature that I speak on, nobles, please get with us. We have too much information for brothers to be not knowing what's going on. We have too much. We too available. We have our platform is pristine, and everybody know we have everything that you need. Please get with us. It's a group of us, and we righteous brothers. We ain't going nowhere, you know. But please keep the questions coming as I close, because I know a lot of people got a lot of questions. As me and my moves was just sitting down right here, I know a lot of people got a lot of questions. I know it. And that's why a lot of my movies ask the questions, because a lot of time you guys might have questions, but maybe, you know, sometimes people are introverts and extroverts, and some people may have to get it going. But I want us to be involved, and we take all those questions to heart. But if we do it the right way, those questions can be answered from love. And you can get wisdom, and you can get research, for you can have it, you know, to back up what you're saying, you know, from peer-reviewed scholarly research, not just hearing it. And so, yes, use me as a source. But I welcome everybody once again, and thank all of y'all muftis, man, for just the continued effort, man, and another year around the globe, or whatever you want to call it, man. And thank y'all for just trusting me. I know we small but mighty, but we are growing, and our impact is making a big difference as I'm getting ready to go back to my city of Flint and do some leg work. And as we continue to build and perfect what we're doing, and we do need our brothers and sisters to support mentally, spiritually, physically, if you can, no matter how you can, hit us up, because there's room for all of us. It's one body, many parts, and we need y'all. You know, we can have some beautiful things going on. So anybody else got anything? If not, we can do our Mortual American prayer, and we can do our benediction, and we out of here.
Just gratitude once again, and always, you know, just for the continuous light and illumination, for the continuous example. So I just want to say peace and love and gratitude once again, Shoot.
Man, you already know, Brian, gratitude. You know I'm a crybaby. But like I said, man, it's just good to be loved and give love back to brothers that really love you as well. And to be able to let your guards down with some brothers that not only look like you, that really love you. So that's the impact that I'm looking for, and how Jesus, how Yahshua, and what an adapt is and what a sheik is. It's a brother, a map, a guy of a small group of men. And as our spirit go, we're going to reach brothers. We're going to reach the right brothers. We build something from ground up, from foundation that's solid, and everything that's supposed to happen, we're supposed to take it with joy and pride and love. Why? Because this is exactly what's supposed to happen with what we're doing. And so we're going to continue to be an example, man. And once again, man, thank y'all, man, for being a beautiful representation of BBT, the beautiful representation of what nobles are, of what men are in this world. As we out here in Arizona, y'all see how people treat us in real life, because we beautiful people to be around. And that's what a Moor is being about. It's being, how can I say it, intelligent. It's operating a certain way. and having the confidence that we're doing things the right way and building. So we are working in our progress, and I hope you guys would like to work in our progress with us. And once again, I say peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
Gratitude and love.
Gratitude and love.
Peace, peace, peace. So for our Moorish American prayer, Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Malakim, Ayash Ayah, Hotep, Islam, Amen. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace. Our talisman benediction reads as follows. May the benediction of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shouldst strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal death, for behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconstancy, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, Al-Haq, Ya Muhammad. And at the BBT, when we say Al-Haq, that's Arabic and it stands for the truth. And when we say Ya Muhammad, that's Arabic as well and stands for the protector. We see ourselves as truth protectors, and we cast our net out to all true and divine light seekers to come and join on to us, for the truth has no sides, for the truth is one, as man is with Allah. And with that, we say peace and love. Islam.
Islam. Peace.
Islam.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, man. We getting ready to go smash, no bull Lonzo. We getting ready to go clean and go smash.
I already know. Enjoy.
You know what, man? We love you, man. We love you, all y'all, man.
Love you, Noble Lonzo.
Grace
Yes,
and
sir.
love, man.
Peace and love to you,
Peace.
man, and the family.
Yes, sir. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Take us out. I'm a spirit speaking, heart seeking.
.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast is brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading funds the mental. Also brought to you by finditbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at mysonstees.com. My Sons, the tea of teas, divinely prepared. And for your musical stylings, visit bhbaymusic.com for all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Bay. And for your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out morrishaberdasher.com. And for that everyday East Special Morris Strip, be sure to check out morsachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge seeking, seed sowing, harvest reaping, man, nigga, me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you won't. Really, it ain't no in between, baby. You can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine. routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave is how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not around.
They remember me, but I am not the remember me.
Run that back one more time, man. Run it back, DJ. One more time, man. Come on, take us out one more time, Brian. Take us out one more time, bro. Please. One more again.
Let me see.
Can you run it back? If not, it's all right. I might be asking for too much.
No, I'm trying to. For some reason my computer won't let me click it right quick. I don't know why.
Well, it's all good, man. You know it's all good vibes, man. See y'all in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace. Working like a slave that I won't make this masterpiece. Living like a god. Peace, family. Peace, everybody. Thank y'all for tapping in today. Brother Ron Hodge, I got you, man. Whatever you need, hit me up. You can be my guest, come to class. Please subscribe to our Temple and School YouTube channel. But Moore's family, tap in, man. Share the word. You know, share it on your page. And we're here to build with everybody, man. And love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. None of that crazy stuff. We don't operate like that. But let's tap in, man, and do some righteous things. I love y'all, man. Peace, light, and illumination. And thank everyone for tapping in. Peace.